welcome to Education, Leadership, and Beyond, Surviving and Thriving. My name is Andrew Murata, host of the show, and happy Easter to everyone. Happy Passover, whatever you're celebrating this coming week. We wish you the best. It is April 15th, tax day, everybody. Happy spring, and hope you are doing well. We are a proud member of the Education Podcast Network, Voice Ed Radio Canada, wherever you're taking your podcasts in. Thank you so much for being a supporter of the show and certainly tuning in live tonight. We have a special guest tonight. This is Elle Foley coming to us from Falmouth, Maine. Elle is a sophomore at Falmouth, and we connected at a student leadership event, and I do a lot of those. But Elle reached out afterwards. She sent an email just saying, "Hey, Mr. Murata, I really enjoyed the session." Boom, boom, boom. We traded a couple emails. I invited her on the show, and she said yes. So she's our guest tonight from Falmouth, Maine. I know they had some snow earlier in the week here in April, as did we. So I'm excited to talk to Elle tonight. Let's hear a word from tonight's sponsor, IXL.
I'd like to thank IXL for sponsoring today's podcast. Over 1 million teachers use IXL in their classroom every day. IXL is the most widely used online learning and teaching platform K through 12. It empowers schools with complete curriculum, thousands of instructional resources, robust reporting, assessment data, and more. It saves teachers a lot of valuable time with ready-made plans aligned to the standards and the textbooks. Built-in engagement tools like custom competitions make learning fun for students. And IXL's diagnostic is research proven to be a strong predictor of performance on standardized assessments. And the best part, everything I just mentioned is all integrated into one platform, so you can simplify your EdTech tools. Visit IXL.com to lead your students towards data-driven excellence today. The link is in the show notes. And again, appreciate IXL sponsoring today's podcast.
All right, let's get started, everyone. If you have seen me speak, if you know me, you know I like props. And I got my newest prop here. That's right, friends. It's a bird cage. And the saying, the use of this prop is, if you carry a bird cage around long enough, someone's going to give you a bird. I'll say it again. If you carry a bird cage around long enough, someone's going to give you a bird. Well, we're not obviously talking about birds and bird cages here. We're talking about that thing in your life, that person you want to be, that project you want to complete, that book you want to write, that cross-country race, Elle, that you want to finish. Well, when you carry that around with you, when you share, when you ask people about that, someone is going to hand you a bird. Someone is going to give you that tip. Someone's going to give you that introduction that you are looking for in your life to help you on that. So my advice to you is to carry around that birdcage. What's that thing that you want in your life? What's that person you want to be, that job you want to have? Well, carry that with you. Talk about it, because somebody is going to help you on your journey. Enough of me chatting. Let's bring in the star of tonight's show from Falmouth, Maine. Elle, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Mr. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. And as I shared off air, Elle, I was really impressed that you reached out with such an email of gratitude and thanks. And here we are.
Yeah, I had no idea, just telling you how impactful your work would bring me here, but it's really cool. Thank you.
Yeah, and thanks for saying yes, right? I invited Elle on. She's a sophomore at Falmouth High School. And, not every kid's comfortable coming on a national podcast, and here she is. So you said yes, and I'm proud of you, Elle. So, Elle, introduce yourself. There's people watching live. Again, please say hello to Elle from Maine. But Elle, introduce yourself and tell us who you are.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. So as Mr. said, I'm Elle. I'm a sophomore at Falmouth High School in southern Maine, and I was thinking about how I was going to introduce myself and kind of like what that would be, who I am, what I like to do. And I started thinking about how I used to introduce myself when I was younger. So my name's Elle, which is E-L-L-E. And sometimes when I would say it to certain people, like maybe if it was a crowded room or they couldn't hear me too well, and I'd say, "Oh, hi, it's nice to meet you. I'm Elle." They would say, "Oh, nice to meet you, Ella or Ellie." And when I was younger, that would make me pretty frustrated. So after a while, I just started saying, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you. My name's Elle, like the magazine." And so for a while, until I was probably like 10, Elle McPherson, the Elle magazine, I would just introduce myself that way, which was kind of funny. But yeah, I'm a three-sport athlete. I'm a co-founder of my own nonprofit, and I just got my driver's license.
Wow! Congratulations there. Very cool. Elle, in addition to preparing for your introduction in the show, what is something else you prepared for coming on this podcast? What was something that you really kind of did some research? Was it what you were going to wear or what you were going to say? What was something you prepared for tonight?
I was talking to my mom, and I was talking to her about how she raised me, because I wanted to talk about that a little bit too. And one of the things that she would say to me a lot when I was younger was, she would say to my brother and I, she would talk about how we should just really want to do. There was a line, I'm forgetting it, but she said, you should want success more in your life than I should, or your result won't be good.
That's good. Yeah, that's a good quote from your mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I know your mom is one of the mentors we're going to talk about now. And I know she's on a work trip. But tell me about your mom. Why did you pick your mom? You have a lot of adults in your life. Why did you pick your mom as a mentor for you, or someone you admire? Tell me about what are some things that your mom brings to the table that you've learned from, and characteristics that you admire.
Yeah. So there's really a lot to say, actually, and a lot of who I am. So, but one thing I would say is how she really knows what she stands for and what she finds is important, and she really makes it clear by spending a lot of time with those things. She's really passionate about a lot of things, and I think when somebody is that passionate and has that much drive, it's just really impactful and powerful. So, for example, like to her kids, she's a mom of 4 kids, and she has a job, and used to be a for my brother, and you could just see her priorities. I think that's really admirable.
Yeah. Shout out to your siblings here, Nicole, Marcus. Your brother Ryan is 13, and you have 2 little sisters. Is it Lottie or Lodi? How do you say that?
Lottie, yes.
Lottie and Vivian. What a pretty name. They're 3 years old. So I hope they're enjoying watching Big Sister on the podcast here.
Yeah. Actually, they already went to bed. My brother was putting them to bed tonight, so hopefully that is going well.
Well, shout out to Ryan for taking care of the little one so you can do this tonight. Elle, you were selected to go to the Maine Student Athlete Summit. Maine runs a terrific event where students from schools all in the area, they only pick 2, right, Elle? They pick 2 student athletes. Is that correct?
They brought about, I think it's 2 per sport.
Per school, yeah. Oh, per sport?
So they brought about 10 of us from Falmouth, but then there were 2.
So you were selected to do that. Tell me what that was like for you to be picked for that event, and what were some of the things that you learned from it?
I felt really special, and it was really cool to see that my coaches have been seeing the hard work I've been putting in, and the person I'm trying to be, and that they saw in me a leader or somebody who's working to be a leader, it was cool to see that they saw that, and just to even have the opportunity to go with some people from my school to see really interesting speakers like you.
Yeah. And you had a chance to collaborate with some other student athletes, meet some other people from other schools?
Yeah. It was cool to see some people I play against and have been playing against for so many years, and actually get to talk to them at an event like this, because usually I'm not going to just go up to them as a competitor and say, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you." But now that gave me the opportunity to say, "Oh, I've seen you in my other sports. What's your name? It's nice to meet you." So that was cool.
Yeah. Shout out to the group that runs that. A lot of athletic directors and coaches It was a tremendous event, and I look forward to going back again next year. They ran a great event there, so it's very cool. Elle, let's talk a little bit about school. You're a sophomore, again, Falmouth High School. I hope some of your teachers and coaches are watching, and if you're watching live, jump in and say hello to Elle. But does school come easy for you, Elle? Is it something that you go through your day, it's kind of easy, or you have to really work at the academics of school?
So I say I think I would kind of like a nerd, which it's okay because I am. But school does come to me, and I think it's because I really love it. And I always have loved it. I think probably because I've been lucky enough to have really good teachers. But just being able to learn something new every day and knowing that I will always be able to find something new, whether it's about a certain subject or the people I'm around. I just have always found it really cool and exciting. I mean, it's some days I'm not super excited to go to school, but for the most part, I really just love learning and that opportunity. So
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. What are some favorite subjects you have?
I would say English is my favorite. I've always loved words in Spanish. I like words and just connecting them, and I really love grammar too for some reason. It's just my favorite. Math is I like all the subjects, but math is definitely the most challenging for me. But it's also one of the most rewarding because it doesn't come naturally to me. So I have to work really hard to get to where I want to be in it. But once I'm actually there, it's really rewarding and exciting.
Yeah. Elle shared she wants to go to law school and become a lawyer. So it's no surprise, Elle, that you shared that English is your favorite subject because you certainly were going to be doing a lot of reading. Elle, one of the parts of my job is I get to see all the teachers in the district, and I get to see so many of them, and I get to see so many great teachers. In your opinion, as a sophomore in high school, what makes a great teacher?
I would say the best teacher that I've had that have the most and kept their expectations higher. Because what that communicates to me is that they believe that I can do it. So teachers that give me, because I have had teachers that give me too much time or set the bar too low, it makes me not want to challenge myself always. But teachers who maybe make the course challenging or have hard tests, and then if I don't do so well on a test, I can go back and say, oh, I was missing this piece. Can you please help me to fix it or to get better? And because they know that I can do it. But it's keeping that bar really high that allows me to improve and keep getting better. And I've had some really good teachers, especially I would say some English teachers throughout the years. Maybe that's why it's my favorite subject, but pushing me to be more creative, to be more systematic with my grammar. Those have been the really impactful teachers, I would say. And then also I've had some math teachers. Like I said, math doesn't always come so easy to me. So when they're encouraging me and say, "Oh, Elle, I know maybe this is hard, but I know you can do it. I'm going to help you." That's what's really touched me and been impactful.
Yeah, awesome to hear, Elle. So, Elle, I mentioned law school, and maybe that's the answer. Maybe it's something else. But you heard my opening concept of carrying that bird cage around. So, what's that bird for you? What's that thing for you, Elle, that if you carry your bird cage around, that someone's going to give you a bird? What's that thing that somebody maybe can help you with, or you're looking to become, or you're looking to do?
Mm-hmm. I think a couple of birds. I think, like you said, I would really love to be a lawyer, and I love writing, and so I'm thinking I'm going to try and find an internship soon, or just get some experience in that field, because I'd love to be a lawyer because I like English, I like debate, but I also know that people sometimes come to lawyers when they're in need of help in the court or whatever it is. It's it differs depending on the situation, but I'd love to be that help and help people get through that time.
Yeah.
Another bird for this year would be to PR in a cross country race. Definitely. definitely is a goal of mine for this year.
Yeah, and it's in the fall, right? You do cross country in the fall?
Yeah, I'm doing track right now, which is actually my first time doing it. But so on Friday, on my first race, I'll PR in whatever I do because I've never done it.
Wow. Yeah. What event are you going to run on Friday?
I'm going to do the 800 race and
Wow.
doing a 400-meter relay.
Those are hard. Don't drop the thing. Don't drop the baton.
That's what my coach said. My coach said if you do that, he'll be mad. So hopefully,
Yeah.
we don't.
And the 800 is a mile. Is that right?
2 laps around the track.
So half a mile.
Uh-huh.
That's like just a warm up for cross country.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So hopefully it's not too bad, but.
Yeah. Will you wear the spikes now? Different than cross country? Would you wear the spikes?
Yeah, I have to get different spikes. I think they're sharper or something, or more close together because it's a hard pack track versus.
Yeah.
But yeah, I said I can't use the same shoes.
Yeah. Friends, if you're watching live, this is Elle Foley from Maine, a standout student athlete from Falmouth High School. Really proud to have her on today. Elle, I got teenagers in my house, my kids, and I'm always talking to them about their phones, putting the phone away and making sure they're concentrating on what it is they're doing. How do you manage this great device, but also a very divisive and distractive thing here? How do you manage this with your learning?
Yeah. So I would say it's different for everybody. I got a phone at an earlier age in middle school. My parents are divorced, so I got a phone when I was 10, almost 11, because I would just use it to call my parents. If I my mom's, I would call my dad, vice versa. But I didn't have social media. I just had camera and on my phone until last year, freshman year in high school. So for me, it really just never was something I was grabbing for, just like needing to have. It was more just a tool I could use to connect with the parent that I wasn't at their house for. So I think that dynamic's probably a little bit different for me because now having a phone, and I do have social media now, but it's just growing up, I just didn't have it with me. It wasn't really a thing I did all the time. So I just kind of keep it in my backpack. Although at my school we also have something called phone hotel, and so we have these, and I think they used to be used for calculators in math class, but all the teachers have them up on their door, and they tell us that we have to put our phone away in the phone hotel. And sometimes people don't listen, so they say, "Oh, the phone hotel's looking a little empty," so then they never put them away. So then they have the option to get it up while we're at school.
Yeah. Well, that was a good answer there, and you're learning and certainly responsible with it. It's a challenging thing. Y'all are growing up with these phones, and is social media, in your opinion, Elle, a good thing or is it a bad thing?
Did you say social media?
Is social media a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it has pros and cons, and I think it depends on how you use it, like anything probably. I've used it so I'm a co-founder of Gratitude for Maine, my nonprofit. I've been able to use it in some pretty awesome ways to spread our message, but I can also see its devastating effects on people my age. I know there's a lot of comparison that happens, or it's just not good for a lot of people if they use it too much or in the wrong way. So I think it just depends on how you use it.
Yeah, good answer there. You brought up, I was going to bring this up a little later, but you brought it up, Gratitude for Maine. Wow. Friends, just Google that if you're listening to the show or watching. The link is in the show notes. But Elle, what a beautiful website and what a beautiful concept. I love the name. Tell me about Gratitude for Maine.
Okay. So started 4.5 years ago in the summer of 2020, and we started it. Everything was COVID. So I was 10, and the plans that I had to do, I was going to go to summer camp. I was going to hang out with my friends. I was going into middle school that year, so I was pretty excited to do some different things, but obviously COVID had other plans and everything got shut down. So everything got shut down except two of my friends and I had planned to do this photography camp, and that was the only thing that stayed open. So in about mid-July, we all went to this photography camp, and it was a week long, and we came out of it with these beautiful photos and these skills in photography, and it was really cool. We learned how to take these pretty photos because Maine is so beautiful too. It has, the ocean and lakes and the nature. So we were really fortunate in that sense. So we came out of the camp and we kind of went back to what we were doing the rest of the summer. It was nothing really happening. Everything was shut down. And so one day we were all sitting together and we got to thinking, we said some kids in Maine feel like this every summer, even without COVID. If they can't go to summer camp, maybe it's their financial situation at home or with their parents, but they haven't had these awesome experiences that we've been lucky enough to have, because summer camp's a pretty big deal and kids really love it. So we said, what can we do to change? And all we had done that summer was go to the photography camp, and we had these photos. And we said, okay, maybe we can make something meaningful with these and help these kids. So we started researching, and we found this other nonprofit in Maine called the Susan L. Curtis Foundation. And what they do is they have a camp, but they have a nonprofit and a camp. And so the camp is funded by the nonprofit. And so how it works is guidance counselors from schools around Maine will recommend kids to go to this camp, and they get to go totally for free. And it's funded, like I said, totally by donations from this nonprofit. So we took our photos, and being the 10-year-olds, we just came up with some things to put the photos on to sell for money. So we came up with calendars and note cards. And so by the end of that summer, we had developed our first note card set. We called it our original note card set. And so we started selling that, and we developed the first one was 2021 calendar. And so we would sell those in t-shirts, and then we just would raise money for this nonprofit, the Susan L. Curtis Foundation. So that was our way of changing the kids' lives, because we were feeling kind of like we didn't have much to do that summer, and we were thinking that this was happening for kids, but more long term. So we wanted to change that. And we just called it Gratitude for Maine because we were so grateful for the nature and everything that we could take photos of. So we called it Gratitude for Maine.
Yeah. And friends, again, check out the website. It's pretty cool there. And the link is in the show notes. And Elle, we're going to buy some stuff here on the podcast. So we're happy to support you with that. And what a great endeavor there. What a cool thing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Elle, as a runner, I'm going to connect you with a friend of mine. He's coming on the show here in May. He was a cross-country runner for Georgia way back when. Get ready, Elle. He's going to run 60 miles on his 60th birthday, and he's looking for donations of $60 a person to help send kids to summer camp. So similar to what you were doing. So I'm going to see about connecting you somehow, and maybe running could turn into a fundraiser for Gratitude for Maine too.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. We'll connect you with him. His name is Wes Greer, and he's coming on in May. So, Elle, you talked about Maine being beautiful. I agree, but Maine's also very cold. You did this in the summer. How do you deal with the cold? What are some of your winter hacks in dealing with the cold of Maine?
It's so miserable and cold. It's easier to deal with in January and February because at least there's snow and it looks pretty and you can ski. But once you get to March and April, you're just pushing through. I mean, I would say my biggest hack is being in denial because, last week we got some snow. It's just crazy that we get snow in April, but I just decided to wear shorts and a t-shirt to track because I just wanted to pretend it was really spring.
She's in denial. Yeah, it is beautiful though, but man, that cold up there for sure. I was there in April. A couple of years ago, we had snow also. So
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about sports. Again, I met you as a student athlete. There, you played 3 sports. You're doing cross country, basketball, and lacrosse. Is that correct?
Well, actually, I'm running, but yeah, I actually made the switch this year.
To track.
Yes.
So yeah, and you used to do soccer, but you made the switch to cross country. Tell
Yeah.
me about that change. I know you were a lifelong soccer player.
Mhm.
What made you make that change there to join cross country?
Um, it was a really hard choice actually, because like you said, I played soccer my whole life, and I I just didn't find the same joy in it that I used to. I don't know if it was the more competitive environment in high school than it was in middle school, or I don't know what it was, but I'd always been a midfielder. I'd always loved running. And I just hated it. I don't know why. I would go I played my freshman year. I played on JV, and I started summer soccer last summer going into my sophomore year. And I just wouldn't be excited about it. I just wouldn't like it, and um I I don't know. I was like, all right, well, I started summer soccer. I guess I'm going to play it this fall. And I would tell my mom about these things, about what I was kind of feeling, I guess, with soccer. And she kind of said jokingly, "Well, you could always go run cross country." And she would say some people that run cross country, and I don't think she was serious at first, but it kind of planted a seed in my head. I was like, wait, I'm a midfielder. I really like running. Maybe this could be something really cool. So I said, okay, I'll think about it. I'm a big list maker. I've made lots of pros and con lists. But I said, all right, I'm going to finish summer soccer, and then I'm going to make a decision, because it wasn't the season yet. It was just, the preseason. So I finished summer soccer, didn't like it still. And but then I just decided that I was going to stick with it in that moment. And so I come to the first day of preseason in soccer, and it was worse. It was worse than summer soccer for me. Just it wasn't that it was so bad for the people who like soccer. I just didn't like it anymore. And I knew that day. And the real moment that it hit me was we were doing this squad drill, and the coach split us up into 2 groups. And the first group was you were playing on the soccer field, and the second group was running laps around the soccer field waiting to go back in. So I'm in my group, and we're all running, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is so horrible. I hate the conditioning. When are we going to get back onto the soccer field?" And something in my brain was like, I just really like this way more than playing soccer. I don't want to go back on the soccer field. And so that was the moment I knew I needed to make a switch. But
Ah,
what made it really hard for me to start running cross country was I am not a quitter. And I really just hate the idea of quitting, stopping something after you start. And those are pretty strong values in my family too. When I did end up making the switch to cross country. There was some conflict with my stepdad, and I kind of like had anticipated that. So I just knew I didn't want that, but at the same time, I knew I had to make a good choice for me and what was going to make the most sense and bring me the most joy. So I did. I emailed the cross country coach that night, and I let my soccer coach know, thank you for all you've done for me this past year, but it is time for me to move on. And the next day I ran cross country.
just like that.
Yep.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
Elle, and what a beautiful story. It's not quitting, it's switching, and you're a young lady, and you can figure those things out, and you can make those decisions. So
Mhm.
good for you for realizing what brings joy in your life and making that. If you're 10 games in the season and you say, I'm not playing anymore, that's a different story. You kind of felt this, and you made the change. So number one, good for you. Number two, what's the joy in running? What is it about running that gives you joy?
I think I don't like it. There's something like freeing about it. You're just like totally in control of your body, how fast you're going, if you need to slow down. And I think it's more focused. It's really mental. That's what I think of it, because it's just how far can you push yourself, and I really love that aspect of it. And the other cool thing about running, I think, is I think it's really comparable to a lot of things in life because it's how hard you work and that will get you as far as you want to go. So like when I'm in a cross country race, a mile two out of, and I'm next to this girl from wherever in Maine, and it's just the two of us in the woods. We've got this steep hill. There's one we call Pain Cave on one of the the routes. It's really
Hold on. Pain Cave.
there's a big.
Okay, you're on Pain Cave, yeah.
So I'm on Pain Cave. We're nearing the end, and I see the hill, and I'm like, all right. So I could either slow down, I could let this girl pass me, I could give up, or I could say, you know what, I'm gonna beat her, and I'm gonna push myself, and I'm gonna get up, and it's really kind of similar in life too. I mean, I'm 16. What do I know? But but what I know so far, like, however hard you push yourself, that's how far you'll get. So I think it's pretty draw that comparison too.
And you passed her?
What?
You beat her?
I did.
Good. Well, that's the name of the game.
Oh.
Yeah. My family is runners. My sister speaks of the joy of running. My daughter has fallen in love with running, and that's what she says, that it's very freeing. So good for you for choosing the joy in your life there, Elle.
Yeah, I think it's been, like you said, really different. The season, the real started. Preseason for us is 2 weeks long, and it's double sessions. And it was the first day, and I don't know. There is a difference between when the season starts.
Yeah. Well, Elle, you're doing 3 sports. You run part of a nonprofit. You're an excellent student, and you also have a job. You're a hostess at the Dockside restaurant. That's incredible. What are some of the skills that you use at the Dockside that maybe you might use in your team sports or you might use in your classrooms? Talk to me about some of those crossover skills that you are developing.
Yeah, I think it's what I was saying, like, it's really comparable to lots of different things. So for me, there's really 2 parts of it. There's the communications with the customers part, and then there's the work ethic part, and kind of yourself and establishing yourself somewhere in your job. So I guess to kind of just the communicating part, Dockside is, like it kind of sounds in the name, it's right on the water. I'm really lucky to work at such a cool place. But upstairs, we have an upstairs and downstairs part of it. There's this section where there's tables right next to the window that are pretty, people really, really like to see. And so we do reservations and we let people just walk in, and we sometimes take them if we have enough space. So as a host, it's my job to organize all the reservations, greet people, hi, welcome to Dockside, how can I help you, that kind of thing. And so, yeah, I'll organize the reservations and I'll bring people to their table. And so sometimes it will be really busy and I'll get a group of people. The worst is when I get a really big group of people, like 6 or 7, and they don't have a reservation. And expect me to give them a table right by the water, which I can't do if there are already reservations. So they come in, and they're just like thinking that I'm just gonna like give them whatever table they want, but I can't do that. It's not part of my job. I have to be strong. So they're like, oh yeah, I've got my family in. Usually they'll say some state that's like right in the middle of the country because they want to be right by the water, from Virginia, and we really need a table right by the water. So I'm looking at my map and I'm like, yeah, there's just no way this can happen. I don't know. And I wouldn't say that, but that's what I'm thinking in my head. So I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, I can't get you this table. I can bring you to this other table, or you can sit at the bar. I give them options. And sometimes they're really demanding and they really want to sit by the water, but it just can't happen. And I have to be kind of strong. And that kind of, I guess, is like a parallel with other things, like conflict in life. You just have to be strong, put up your boundaries, and not let people take advantage of you even if they think they can. Like a host.
Yeah. Well done there, Elle. My wife worked customer service for Toys R Us. I know they're out of business now, but that was a busy store, and she worked customer service. So her first job, they said, you worked customer service at Toys R Us, we're hiring you. So that is a good skill, law school and arguing and dealing with people that maybe aren't happy with you. That'll be some good skills that you'll use down the road.
Yeah, definitely. And then the other thing I was thinking about with Dockside is I'm coming up on 2 there. I'm a pretty hardworking person. I care a lot about what I do, and I've established myself there after working there for 2 years, and I was just promoted to host trainer, so I'm gonna be training the newbies that come in.
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of like what we were talking about earlier with being invited to come to the Student Athlete Leadership Conference. It's like my boss was saying, "Oh, Elle, we see how hard you work. We see these things that you're doing, and we want the new people to learn these habits that you do."
Nice.
It's a really cool feeling when you're working hard at something, you're actually getting a result from
Yeah. You're going places, kid. Elle Foley, Falmouth, Maine. Friends, if you're listening, she's looking for an internship. She runs a nonprofit. She's an athlete. So let's see about getting her an internship. She's carrying around that bird cage, so we're going to try to help her out there. Yeah, Matt Hodge is going to try to get you down to Alabama. That's a friend of mine watching, Elle. But friends, if you're watching, you have an opportunity for Elle. Let's try to do that for her. Elle, this has been great. You're a real inspiration. Before we get to rapid fire, is there something that I didn't ask you that you want to talk about?
I think we covered all of it.
Yeah. Well, again, Matt said it in the chat there. Friends, if you're watching live, please jump in the chat and say something about Elle here. She's doing great. But you are an inspiration, and our future as educators, Elle, is bright because of young people like you. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Something I guess I would say too is thank you to all the educators, because as I said earlier, I really love learning, but I think that's really because of the gift that my good teachers have given me. So thank you to all of the educators.
Yeah. Elle, that was going to be my next question, and you jumped in there. Educators do need to hear that praise. They do need to hear that thanks. Elle, how about the young teachers, right? You're 16. Well, there's a lot of 22 and 23-year-old teachers out there that are just getting started. What would be your message to those younger teachers that are just getting started?
I would just really believe in their ability to have a really positive and inspiring message, because I think anyone can have a really big impact, no matter how old you are or what your past has been. I mean, I learn things from my 3-year-old sister every day. I learn patience, and so there's something to learn from everybody, and especially just having confidence in knowing that you really can do it and make an impact, I think is really
Very cool. Elle Foley, friends, here from Falmouth, Maine. Elle, let's get to rapid fire. And these are going to be quick questions. The first thing that pops into your head, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Last movie you saw?
Mary Poppins.
Okay, like the old Mary Poppins, or is there a new one?
The second one.
Okay. Last concert you went to?
Taylor Swift.
You went to the Taylor Swift concert?
I went to Poland.
What? Did you say Poland?
Yes, the country.
Oh my God! Because the tickets were so much cheaper over there.
Yes, they are. It's crazy. It's cheaper to fly to Europe and see her there than it is to see her in America.
All right, hold on from rapid fire for a second here.
Yeah.
Hold on. You flew to Poland. So you went from Portland to New York to Poland? Is that what you did?
What did we do? We went from Portland to Boston to Germany, Poland.
Wow. So how was the concert? How was it?
Oh, it was incredible. I've been a Swiftie my whole life. So was my mom. And so we went. It was a great 15th birthday present. And my aunt's actually living in Barcelona, my mom's sister, for her job. So she met us there. So it was the 3 of us. And we got there. It was incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell me about your inspiration from Taylor. I'm a Swiftie too. My shout out to my daughters. Tessa knows every word to every song. What's your inspiration from Taylor?
I think she works so hard. She's released 11 albums. She's been a major pop star for over a decade, and she just keeps going. We don't even know when she's gonna stop, but I think it's just really incredible that she's still going and still releasing really great music.
Wow. Taylor Swift in Poland. That is awesome. Shout out to your mom for making that happen.
I know.
Yeah.
Really?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you just got your driver's license. I'm going to guess an answer here, but what's the last song you sang out loud in the car?
I drove my 5-year-old sister to school today, and we sang "Shake It Off" by Taylor Swift.
Nice. She's a Swiftie too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Nice. Favorite place to travel?
Sanibel Island. It's in Florida.
Yeah, that is a beautiful spot. Yeah. Do you appreciate the warmth being from Maine?
Definitely. Yeah.
All right. Falmouth is fill in the blank.
Falmouth is home.
Oh. Maine is fill in the blank.
Beautiful.
What is your favorite Maine dish? Your seafood dish, or your favorite? You know, people say chowder, or you get lobster. What's your favorite Maine dish?
So clam chowder is good. I will say, which is kind of they're coming from a Mainer, but I only eat lobster when people from out of Maine are here.
Yeah.
My favorite would be, I don't know if you've ever had blueberry crisp. Maine blueberry crisp is way better though because of the blueberries here.
Yeah. Okay.
I have
So, go ahead. The lobster, in your opinion, is not all it's cracked up to be.
I mean, it's good if you like lobster. I don't love it.
Yeah, yeah. I want to shout out all the principals there. When I was at the principals conference, they gave me a tutoring session on how to do it, how to eat it, or, you know, the oil, the butter, the whole thing. So it was great. All right, let's talk about some goals, Elle. In 2025, I will. What fill in the blank?
I will pee cross country.
That's September there. You won a state championship though, right?
Yeah, maybe we'll do it again.
Yeah. What do you mean maybe? Let's do it again. Your first season there. That was awesome, becoming a state champion. Great picture there. In 2025, I will stop doing fill in the blank.
I will stop doubting myself.
Okay. 5 years from now, Elle, you want to be doing what?
5 years from now, I will be 21 and be in college and getting my law degree.
Do you have a specific college you got your eye on, or you just want to go to school for law?
I don't have a specific school. I don't think I want to go in Maine. I think I want to go, but I don't know. I don't know what school.
Yeah. Do you want to stay in the Northeast? Are you looking to go south? What do you think?
I mean, south would be pretty cool. Get a little bit different weather.
Yeah.
I'm not really gonna have to do some more.
Okay. Elle, for people that haven't been to Acadia National Park, what would you say about Acadia? Have you been there?
I have, yeah.
What tell our listening audience about Acadia National Park?
It's really, really pretty. I would definitely recommend it, especially in the summer. That's definitely the prettiest time. There's really cool beaches. I've biked on their trails. It's really one time when I was biking, my dad, my brother, and we went the wrong way, and we ended up having to do like many more hours of biking. So don't do that, but just follow the map.
Yeah, it is a beautiful place. If you've never been, highly recommend that. Certainly in the summer, it's beautiful. LL Bean, as a Mainer, what do you say of LL Bean?
5 star.
5.
Not just about that. You have to stay warm. Their bean boots are unmatched. Your feet never get cold.
My mother would be happy to hear that. She's an LL Beaner herself. Very cool. Elle, you have a lot of superpowers. You're very inspiring. But if you had a real superpower, what would that be?
Super speed, because then I could get the PR.
You're going to get that PR, and you're going to get it on Friday, too. Elle, what's a pet peeve of yours? What's something that bothers you?
When people at school go like this with their pens. It's brutal. So many kids do it, and I just want them to stop because we're just trying to focus. But
do you give them the look? Do you give them the?
I just try to take a deep breath in.
At 8 a.m. on Saturday morning, Elle Foley is fill in the blank.
Probably sleeping.
You're still sleeping.
Yeah,
What time you getting up? You got nothing to do on a Saturday. You're chilling. What time you getting up on a Saturday?
probably like 8:30. It wouldn't be much past then.
Yeah,
But
you're not a 10:30, 11 o'clock type person.
I'm not.
No,
I don't.
you got stuff to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Elle, all leaders are readers. What are you reading right now?
I'm in the middle of. I said I was a nerd before. This will hold true. I'm reading a book about 10 articles from Harvard Business Review on managing yourself. That's what I'm in the middle of right now.
You're always growing here. Wow.
It's been really cool. I've been writing down some of the lessons. I wish I had my notepad with me. That I've been learning from it, but it's really cool. Just like I said, I'm a big list person. It's just been better. It's been helping me time manage better. But I did just finish reading The Housemaid, which was really good. I really liked that book. It was more of like a fun read, but there were a lot of plot twists and super good characters. So I would recommend The Housemaid to anybody who's looking for it.
One thing you're curious about.
This might sound weird, but humans. I think we're just so interesting. Like what drives us to do the things we do, or how our minds work. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think you're pretty cool. I think you're doing really good here on the show. Elle, how about a quote? You have something that you kind of maybe have on your wall? Is it a Taylor Swift quote? What's a quote you have that you can end the show for us?
My mom gave me a plaque a couple of years ago that is by Coco Chanel that says, "A girl should be two things, who and what she wants." And that hangs on my wall, and I like it.
Say it one more time. A girl should be what?
A girl should be two things, who and what she wants.
Elle Foley, friends from Falmouth, Maine, excellent student athlete. She's going to law school. She's looking for an internship now. She's got a nonprofit, Gratitude for Maine. Elle, this was fantastic. You did really good.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, your family, the team at Falmouth High School, certainly are proud of you. We're proud of you. I'm proud to represent you here on the podcast, Elle, and you certainly represented the student athletes of the state of Maine very well today. So good job.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to sign off here on the podcast, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Please leave Elle a comment in the chat, something you learned from the show, or certainly something positive. Elle, we need people like you in the world here, and you did a great job tonight. So once again, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Elle, you stay on the line. We are going to sign off here on the podcast. Again, happy Easter, happy Passover, everyone, and continue to survive and thrive, friends.